Hello everybody, how are we doing? Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another edition of the Kung Fu Cup. So good to be here with you guys. So hello, hello. Good to see you. And we are going to be getting underway in just a few. Just getting things set up. Obviously, bracket just went live. Thinking between two different matches to start us off. Kind of depends on what Roddy wants to do. I kind of feel like Roddy's going to do Trigger versus Spirit. But yeah, we'll see what Roddy's doing. Yeah, he's doing that one. I'm going to do Oliveira versus Manet. Sweet, Oliveira Manet for us, coming up in just a few. Hello, hello, guys. Hope everyone is doing great, doing well, ready for some action today on the Kung Fu Cup. Should be a good one. Just get my YouTube stream set up as well. Sweet, sweet, sweet. Alright, so things coming up. Kung Fu Cup is getting started. We'll be into some action very shortly, guys. Again, thank you for a little bit of patience early on. But we're going to get this going. Manet Oliveira for us. Players online, so that means we should be pretty ready to go pretty quickly as well. So that should be problematic. Looking good all around. Alrighty, guys, we're going to get going in just a few. Kicking off into Oliveira versus Manet. Actually getting the lobby up right now, so we are pretty much straight into it. Perfect. No downtime today as we get ready to rumble. Oh, we got everyone in here. Perfect. It's going to be party time. What you love to see. That is what you love to see. Alright, alright, alright. Cool. We're just waiting for the official stream to be ready to go, guys. So a couple of moments extra. Kick this off, get into the action, and we'll be, like I say, ready to rumble into some SC2 today. Let me just reset. I didn't realize I had donations last time I streamed, so let me just go and reset my donation goal and stuff. Don't gotta do that every stream nowadays, but today's one of the days we can click the reset button. Beautiful. 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 Alright guys, perfect. We are going to be kicking off in just a couple moments then. Like I said, we're in the lobby. We are pretty much set to go. Just need Mana and I to be swapped. Mana can set his race to Protoss. And we will be good. Alright, go. GLHF's being called. We get ready to go. Kick off into action. It is going to be Oceanborn for our opening map of the day. So, Oceanborn TVP best of 3 coming up. We get this going. Apparently, we're waiting a moment, so we're not quite ready yet, but hopefully very soon. Hopefully. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. Alright, we are going to be diving in just a second, guys. Kicking this into action. Countdown is going to finish up. Let's get this underway. Let's see what's going to go down. And we begin in the bottom right-hand corner of the map with our red Terran player. This is going to be Oliveira, one of the favorites as usual in the Kung Fu Cup. Always seems to pop off in this event a little bit. Of course, Chinese-hosted event. I feel like Oliveira always shows up in those a little bit more, as weird as that might seem. I don't know, like, it really makes a difference, but I always feel like I always end up following a bunch of Oliveira in this event. He's had some good finishes, which ain't easy to do in one of the most stacked online tournaments out there, as in the top left-hand side. The Team Liquid Protoss player who has continued to see pretty reasonable success across the board. This is Mana. Game number 1 of this best of 3, as we get underway on Oceanborn, and we see what the games have in store for us here. Let's jump onto we have official WTL obs in here, so I'm going to jump on those just to take it away for us in the early stages. Get everything rolling. See what's going to happen. How's everyone doing in chat? Let me know what's up. Hope you guys are having a great week so far. Hope you guys are excited to enjoy more SCT as we continue through today and into the week. Tomorrow we're going to have Wardy TV Summer Bash action as well, so that's going to be a lot of fun. Excited about that. As the SCV comes down the ramp, is going to go nibbling at a probe. Just trying to find some damage here and there. It's just getting some bits and pieces wrapped up for the moment. So far, so good. Looking pretty. Yeah, we just have our SCV continue to chase that probe down. So a little bit more damage being done. Can't complain more than usual. Lovely. I mean, that's something, right? What's up, Ina, over on the YouTube chat as well. Hello. If you're over watching on YouTube, do not be afraid to say hi. We're going to actually have a couple YouTube streams back-to-back this week. We'll be doing the Wardy TV Summer Bash. Will also be fully available on YouTube, so every day of action of that starting tomorrow, and then next week, Tuesday and Thursday, and the week after Tuesday and Thursday will be available too. So we have plenty of YouTube streams coming up as well. Going to be trying to be a bit more consistent on the YouTube uploads as well. I let that slip over the last month or so. As Mana is just going to throw a little pause out here. I'm still not even talking about the game, just doing some intro things. And we go from there. So a couple of moments, Mana just dealing with whatever is going on, and hopefully we can quickly get on into our game properly then, following this. We'd seen a very minor bit of setup coming through. Looks like Mana was just about ready to drop his tech down. I think it's going to be a Twilight Council. It's, Mana clearly getting a very important package on the way. Yeah, he lost a probe to the Reaper. And we are going to resume here, but I think Twilight Council is about to be placed, unless we're going to wait for 150 gas with that probe off of the minerals. Looks like we are, so it's actually going to be a Stargate. Stargate after Warpgate as well, so yeah. That's why that probe ends up waiting, because with the Stargate it costs a bit more, so you usually end up kind of cancelling Warp Gate and going Stargate first, but then they're going to get Warp Gate, then his Stargate comes down. Oliveira with the double Cyclone opening, you've got to feel is already going to put you in the right direction of having, you know, a couple of Cyclones. That's really good anti-air, obviously puts you in a great place, so some questions to be had in that regard as this Adept shades down to the low ground. It's going to start fighting against a Marine. It will go down. The next Adept shade going to come up the high ground. A couple of Cyclones are still going to chase, and the Adept now has to just back it up and get the heck away. Falling off of there for the moment. Just going to have the Adept recall home, but you get to see the Cyclones, so now you know what's going on. Phoenix going to be the immediate call from the Stargate. That's where Mana wants to head to, with 2 more gateways as well, so really trying to ramp up production numbers so he can deal with a bit of a Cyclone push. Those gates not being delayed at all. A couple Phoenix will be able to lift some of the Cyclones up and delay those as well. So that will also be a factor. As both Cyclones join together now just out the front, and our Stimpack coming through. Warp Gate still coming up. Phoenix on the way as well as the Stalker gets back down the low ground. Battery coming in. A couple more probies on the way out. Adepts need 3 shots on SCVs. Yeah, because SCVs have 5 more HP than drones and probes. So Adepts do 2-shot other workers, but they 3-shot SCVs. Same as like how Hellions 4-shot SCVs, but they 3-shot probes and drones. Because that 5 extra HP. I think it's because SCVs, the idea is that they need to be repaired and it costs money to repair SCVs, whereas probes and drones regenerate HP/shields naturally without any cost. But yeah. They did used to 2-shot SCVs when Adepts first came out, as the triple lift from the Phoenix is going to be costing you on Phoenix, but you probably get 3 out of 4 Cyclones, right? Put the Adepts in position, you can stop this last Cyclone from retreating away, and we are good. So Phoenix with 3 Cyclones, I think we take that trade, because that's all of that pressure from Oliveira just cleaned up now. And all he did was really put some damage on some gateways, so yeah. Yeah, way back when Adepts first came out, they 2-shot SDVs as well. They also 2-shot Marines back then. Yeah, it was just some numbers that got changed and swapped about and made it so that you could more easily handle those Adepts. The Adepts doing a little bit less damage to those Marines and SDVs really made a big difference in shifting the meta in early Legacy of the Void. Adepts going to go shading up this ramp, and they're going to meet the wall off, which is going to be just nice to keep them on the low ground. We're actually going to commit onto the tank. Hard to say that we love that, right? I mean, that's a lot of Adepts. They're not going to get the tank. Tries to lift with the Phoenix. SCV repair is too much, and that was just not a good call from Mana. If the Stalkers moved forwards as well and we got some extra shots on the tank, then sure, but I don't feel like that was ever even really the plan. I wonder if that was even meant to be an Adept Shade finishing, or if that was just straight up mistake from Mana. Because he positioned it on the tank to threaten it, but I just don't think he... I feel like he knows now absolutely he should have never committed it, but I wonder if it was really ever intended to be, like I say, that fully committed in the first place. Interesting little situation. Well, a couple tanks hanging about. SCVs are going to get a turret and a depot on the way over on that right-hand side. Our +1 attack upgrade coming through on the engineering bay. Depot lowers. Bunker sits in the front. And a Stalker sentry combo. Just chilling out the front of the 3rd base as well. It's just going to be hanging out there. We do see a few more Zealots warping in. A couple extra gates and Robo Bay coming up also. Our Marina just heading towards the upper left-hand side as well. So it's just on a little bit of a poke up to the top. Phoenix moving about. Medevac Marine +1 on combat shield continue to build. Some nice shots. Pick that Marine off. Still got the Twilight Council and Robo Bay coming up as well. The Phoenix and the gates continue to come about. This is also in production as our Phoenix gets zoned back in toward the main. Gonna find one Marine on this ramp. The SCVs are pulling, so Oliveira says, okay, I like my chances of just being aggressive, and I don't blame him. Upgrades are going to be done. The SCVs will be a great buffer. There's only the first Colossus about to pop out in, well, still about 30-40 seconds. Yep, very important position to hold here. Very typical position on Oceanborn, this forward ramp. Don't let him get to the high ground easily or freely. The Phoenix are tracking that army too, so you know that it's moved, and you can buy time with some force fields here as well. Mana will drop a few down. That's not good enough, though. Marines leak through, and that is not good enough at all. Those force fields a little bit overlapping on each other, and the Marine seepage is just going to be costly. We haven't even really lost SCVs yet. Now the first couple go down. The super battery doesn't matter. There's enough Marines to target down anything you'd like. The first Colossus shows up. Realistically, that tank should have stayed siege and we would have just shot the Colossus down. Now we'll stim one more time and kill it off. Mana has to GG as he misjudges his defense. And Oliveira didn't even really need the SCVs for that. That's why it was really just a misplay on the defense from Mana. Because if the SCVs weren't even needed, something's gone wrong. And something absolutely went wrong in that situation. GG's, and that is going to be Oliveira popping off to a 1-0 lead to start off the day. So Oliveira gets off to a 1-0 lead. And we'll get into our game number 2 of this in just a couple moments as we wait for this to get hosted on up and through and ready to go. So we'll get that hour rolling. Just, again, a couple people to join and leave the lobby. How come Terran goes 2 base so many times against Protoss? Because Protoss as a race kind of builds up on this kind of flimsy nature of like they're trying to get as much tech as possible with as little as possible. And that's a very fine line to walk, and so it's very easily punished by a lot of these 2 base timings. Right, where it's just the Protoss is just trying to get into a great mid-game position, and they're doing it by building a 3rd Colossus, right? You know, they built Phoenix in the early game. There's just not a lot of kind of like straight up, you know, numbers of units. It only works against certain styles, because say Mana had played like Phoenix Charge, for example, and you had like a ton of charge bots there with Phoenix. It's the kind of army that can do a whole lot better against aggression. Just the way the styles match up. I don't even think, I don't think it's necessarily even scary for the Terran to go super late game, although I think later in the game Protoss often feel quite comfortable. I think it is just the fact that if you are good at recognizing when your opponent doesn't have enough to secure what they're doing, it can just be a very easy way to kind of end the game then and there. If you execute correctly in that moment, then you don't have to let anything else happen, right? So why give the guy, why give your opponent a chance to play the game if you don't think he should ever get to that point? And there's also that question to be asked of like, hey, look, if I, don't punish you now and you are being a bit greedy to the point where I could have punished you, if you get away with that greed into the mid-game and then the later game, then that's something that is going to affect the Terran as well, right? That does put the Terran on a bit of a negative situation. So it's kind of a double whammy of, like, if you don't punish it when you can punish it, the Protoss gets away with it, as now we're going to have the mainstream pausing. They do not have sound. Hopefully this isn't going to have to regame, but maybe it will. So I'm just going to have a moment while they figure this out. Just waiting on then this to be fixed up. Terran late game's not good. I think Terran late game is pretty good, man. You have to liberators and stuff. They can be very heavily zoning. There's a lot you can get out of that. You have to play like Mario to win? Not really. A lot of Terran players find success in the late game, though. Like, Oliveira is very decent in the late game. Clem is very strong in the later game. Hero Marine can play a very scary late game TVP as well. Spirit can really play a very contesting TVP late game. Like, Terran with Ghost Liberator is a super scary army. Usually the issue for Terran is kind of getting up to that Ghost Lib, but if they secure the mid game, it's absolutely a doable kind of thing. Looks as though we're going to resume here. What is scary is, obviously, if the Protoss player gets up to, like, carriers and so on. I think if you let them get to Sky Toss, then yes, that is definitely scary, but it's not like Terran late game is bad. And there's also a lot you can do to not let the game necessarily go to, like, Sky Toss as well. That's like a different kind of late game, but I think a lot of pros obviously don't mind it if they get to that stage, but Terrans, it's one of the things I think Terrans are slowly getting a little bit better at, just little by little figuring that out. Well, Nexus is on the way, on the natural. Our factory coming up at home from Oliveira, so double gas in our factory before we go and do too much else. Reactor being brought up on the barracks as well. Let's just have our first SCV popping in the production tab, and the Reaper still heading down the bottom left to just try and see a little bit of what's going on here in these next few moments. So in we go, we see the Nexus. Reaper gonna fire up a few shots. Isn't even going to jump into the main base just yet, as we do have Hellion on the way to support this Reaper, but it is only one Reaper and then the Reactor, so it's not like this is going to be multiple Reapers and Hellions, unless we go Reapers after the Reactor and we hit a little bit later, but with even more power. And then you have the Reactor already built as well, so kind of nice. Okay, having the Reactor up is obviously great, because then you can transition into more units very quickly as well, so having invested into that already is great, as this Reaper does not want to go down. If you're going to commit to trying to be a little bit aggressive with the Reaper Hellion, you don't want to lose a Reaper in the process. You want to make sure you hit with full strength and give yourself the best possible chance of diving through and dealing some of that early game damage. And that's exactly what we're going to start moving towards right now, as the Reapers 2 and 3, Hellion number 2, pop out. Straight to Widowmine and Marine production, so starting to look more normal behind this. But again, this little squad of units has so much potential. There's going to be 2 Stalkers and a Phoenix up. No Warp Gate. Next Stalker only just starting. You could probably, just dive with everything onto the natural here. Phoenix can lift one Hellion out of the way. Stalkers will put some damage onto the other Hellion. There is a battery in position. Oh, we hit the Nexus. It's a little bit of a shame, because there's not much you can do off the Nexus. There's the battery. Obviously putting some work in as well. Second Hellion goes down. Just the Reapers left over. We will escape with 2 of the 3 Reapers. That other one was just a little bit too far back and looked as though it was going to go down from the start, really. And that's exactly what did happen, as our Orbital Command finishes up on the natural. Still got the Viking on the way, SCVs and the Marine still coming up as well. Those Reapers pulling all the way back to the natural as well, so just bringing themselves back in over here. Again, the 2 extra barracks coming in, our additional Marines are building. Robotics facility coming up on the side of Mana, so we get that going too. Phoenix gathering up just outside of that natural, as we do have the SCV gonna get lifted up off of that bunker. Viking gonna shoot. Gonna get a few more shots coming down. We do have the Widowmine gonna land a hit as well. I was gonna say, kind of sad it doesn't hit the other Phoenix, because they might have actually been able to splash down. Same thing there. The Phoenix that was already hurt was the one that got targeted. I guess that guarantees the kill, but actually, yeah, I guess it works out. You're probably only gonna get 2 Phoenix and maybe some extra HP damage done. Nicely done though for Oliveira. Widowmine's successful. Suddenly you've lost Phoenix here as Mana. So much of your control in this game is already disappearing, and Oliveira is on a push. I actually think you're going to have a bad time right now. Observer pops out, but by goodness, do you need an Immortal, and you need it right here and now. As Oliveira doesn't actually keep on moving across the map, but I guess when he hits Stim and Combat Shield and +1 with the way that this game has started, he might kind of commit through this to this once again, as upgrades continue to come through. Phoenix firing it up. Reaper will go down the probes. Transfer over toward the 3rd base. Phoenix still on a little bit of a move. Yes, we got a little more damage done. Stim back, combat shield, and +1 coming up. mobs just in the front line there. Got our Marines and our Viking ready to potentially knock that down. And gets out of reach, forces a second scan. We take those. Colossus production continuing through. Kind of thought Oliveira would be more aggressive in this game. Having knocked those Phoenix down, you take a lot of the safety net away of the Protoss, but I'm actually just going to start up that third CC and not go to anything overly aggressive here just yet. One Viking just going to poke, and we'll draw the Phoenix to move forward, but you can't go too far forward because of the Widow Mine. Phoenix with the live, getting the Widow Mine there. We begin to drop into the main base. Phoenix will continue through. Viking trying to fight back. Marines are going to unpower the super batteries as we come into position. Widow Mines are going to go off. The Colossus is still alive. Not with a lot of HP though. No battery healing. Marines are going to fight through everything. The Phoenix can't make a difference. It looks as though this one is going to be done and dusted as Oliveira breaking through the main base of mana. And he's going to be powering through to the next round today. I believe the reason I picked this matchup is because the second round is pretty fun as well. I think it's going to be TBT. I think it's going to be Oliveira here, Marine, although I'll have to double check the bracket myself when the game actually wraps up. I think that's what we were going for. It might be something else, but I think it's going to be a good match no matter what, as extra Marines and Marauders show up. Oliveira just looking a little bit too powerful. Obviously has the +1 upgrade advantage. Super Battery will still be on cooldown from usage in the main base, and mana as his Colossus falls, so will this first series for him. Oliveira 2-0, moving through to the second round of competition in today's Kung Fu Cup. And yeah, Hero Marine is the player that Oliveira now comes up against. So Hero Marine, Oliveira TVT going to be coming out. A lot of fun matches starting up, guys. There's a lot going on in the Kung Fu Cup, that always is. I think we're just going to follow into that initial kind of setup of Hero Marine versus... yeah, Hero Marine versus Oliveira. We can go from there. Perfect. So yeah, we're going to follow that one in just a couple of moments, guys. I guess we jump out of this one. It's ready to go. So, we do know what's coming out next for us. Hero Marine Oliveira. TVT action continues as the early rounds play out. Showtime versus Hearthstone taking place as well. Spats against Lambo. Estrella versus Coffee. Beyond Firefly starting up shortly as well. It's also a fun one. Lots of cool matches. We might change section after this match, but I think this TVT is a fun one that a fair few people would like to see a little bit of. Clem, please. Yeah, I can't watch Clem because Roddy's doing Trigger versus Spirit, so I assume Roddy is going to follow the winner of Trigger Spirit into versus Clem. So unfortunately, I don't get choice on that one. But I'm sure Roddy will have you covered if you want to check his stream out. He's live. Cast and stream and everything. As, like I say, we're just waiting for a couple of moments here. Get into this next series, TVT, coming our way. Couple of moments and we'll hopefully be underway. The veto process is beginning. Ghost Youth just got vetoed out, for example. Nora, Ghost, River, Ocean, Vaughan, Side Delta all taken out of the vetoes as well. We are a veto away and a map pick away from hosting up into the TVT here, guys. So a couple of moments to get this TVT up and running. Get this all properly kicked off. Exciting times, exciting times. Dun, 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 dun. Looks like we're gonna have first map gonna be Ghost River. Sorry, we had 2 vetoes when it was only meant to be 1 veto. But we're in the lobby, so veto issues aside, we are having our progress be made. And it sounds as though it's time for us to go hopping on into action. As we're going to go Ghost River here for map number 1 between Oliveira and Humering. Like I said, TVT, yeah, mirror matchup, but a pretty fun mirror matchup in my eyes. So let's see what we are going to get as we load on into it. Counting down on Ghost River. Loading screen is up. Gonna be away in a moment. What's up, Zergy L? How you doing? Good to see you guys. Again, thanks for joining us for some Kung Fu Cup action today. As we have in the top right-hand corner, the red Terran player. This is Oliveira. Taking on the blue Terran. In the top left side of the map, we have Hero Marine. Off and away we go. Exciting TVT then. Here in Oliveira, I've always played pretty fun matches against each other. I remember back to like Casa Civil War and stuff. They played some really important matches against each other there as well. It's either that or War Chest Team League, one of those 2 events. And yeah, that was before Oliveira was a world champion of StarCraft 2. So obviously has only been improving since then in his resume and so on. Yeah, nowadays I see these 2 guys playing. They're both just Terran players that to me have so much potential, have so much opportunity to see success. I always think it's fun to, like I say, see them both playing and taking part. Excited to see what we come out with as we move on forwards. Currently it's going to be that second Rax for Oliveira out on the map, being a little bit aggressive down in that bottom side. So Oliveira already trying to feel out the potential to deal some damage. Got a little bit feisty. I'm into it. I always like the 2 Rax Reaper. Players like Oliveira and Clem always kind of resort to this build. It's something I call it like a comfort build. It's something they always feel comfortable with. It puts them in good positions. It's not quite the most normal of openings. I always think it's such a fun build to watch because obviously it's not like fully committed, but there's potential for some damage and stuff. I don't know, I like this I like this little opener. Oh, I don't like it so much when it goes like this because it means that the game's going to end super quickly, and here Marine just had his first Reaper too far forwards. GG. I'm just like, yeah, I kind of like this build. Yeah, I don't like it so much when that happens, obviously. That's a little bit brutal, a little bit painful. Sad, sad, sad. Yeah, that kind of sucks. Well, that was game number 1, guys. We'll go into game number 2 here in just a sec. Very, very quick first game. Ay, ay, ay. Well, it happens. Like I say, those things, those games do come about. As now apparently the keyboard is broken of our host. I'm not having a good day. The sound broke, the keyboard broke. What is going to go right for these guys? Nothing so far, unfortunately. Alright guys, just waiting for them to figure out the keyboard issues so they can host the game. Hopefully just a couple moments. It's been quite a day so far, hasn't it? Very quick game. Elsewhere, any results? Future moving forwards, nothing crazy there. Shin beats Lemon. Classic playing against Jim. Young still going up against you, Thermal. Like I said, I don't think there's any other results that I've not really mentioned just yet, but mostly games are happening and progress is being made across the board as we make our way through today's Kung Fu Cup. Hopefully, like I say, we're going to be having these few issues now, and then we'll be done with these issues and moving onwards. And not having any more for the rest of the day after this, so fingers crossed on that one. But like I say, the problems are going to be just short-lived. As we get going on Alcyone. Game number 2, so it looks as though we are going to be able to resume here. Wasn't too much of a delay in the end, was it? It was okay, it was manageable. Alright, countdown is going to begin, so away we go. Hopping into game number 2 as Humarine falls to a very, very succinct attack. Not really much to really talk about on that one, guys. Wish it was a little bit more exciting than it was, but unfortunately it was not. As we hop on into game. In the top right, our red Terran, this is going to be Oliveira, taking the 1-0 lead within a couple of minutes in that last round. Taking on here the blue Terran player, Hero Marine. I know I was complaining a little bit about TVT, but I did expect it to be, like I say, a little bit stronger than what we had last time. So here is hoping that we get something a little bit stronger here this time around too. Game 2 starts up, and Oliveira is going to send an SCV out onto the low ground immediately. Just going to go hide in the corner. I wonder if he wants to maybe play a little bit of a mind game or something, possibly. I wonder if that's got some potential as, yeah, going to build a barracks over there. And if he Marine scouts and sees no barracks, he might start to panic a little bit. So I think there's a little bit of a mind game going on in this one as we get ourselves going in these first few moments. Not actually going to be any second gas either, so nothing coming out of there. Just have ourselves the Reaper continues to come through. Reactor and the orbital command coming up as well. So a little bit of everything here in these early stages getting started for the moment. Our factory coming online on both sides. It's going to be pretty mirrored in terms of timings of tech and so on. So we get all of that underway. And as the Reaper continues to move back out onto the map again. So just on a little bit of a journey around, seeing a little bit of what's up and what's going on. CC will be starting on the low ground. Again, I got a Cyclone coming up. A couple more Reapers are on the way. Keep moving about. Keeping an eye on what's happening. Again, just trying to see if there's anything particular they can get done, but this has been a pretty even situation to start out with so far. Don't really feel as though we're in a rush to try and do any other things just yet. Reapers trying to get a little bit of a fight. Two more Reapers showing up, and Oliveira is going to get a catch on these Reapers of Hero Marine. So Hero Marine will be the first to be losing out in terms of some numbers on this one. So numbers will be lost. As we just have back at home, a Cyclone sent defensively is not looking to come out onto the map and get involved at all. So it's going to be hanging back for the moment as well. Reapers, Hellions making their way through this command center. This orbital starting to take a couple nips of damage. The Cyclones show up though, and the Cyclones should be good enough to kind of defend for the moment, so I can't imagine that's going to go too much further. As yo, what's up, Shakyo? Thank you so much for the 10-month resub on the Prime. Much appreciated. Hope you're doing great. Thank you so much. There's our Hellions going to be gathering together and still trying to get something done. You do have the pushing power to potentially take down a Cyclone or so, but don't feel as though it's going to be very easily done. That much is known. As we continue onwards. Cyclone's actually going to get another pick off. Love the medevac being here. Obviously means the Cyclones can get picked up and evacuated as necessary as well, so no issues all across the board there. As the medevac is still lingering though, and Oliveira just trying to keep some pressure going. Brave and Interference Matrix both continuing up. Medevac and a couple Cyclones pull back over the left-hand side. With Ravens on the way on both sides, we really are getting to a much more comfortable position across the board here, I think. Things are going to start looking a little bit cleaner. See Raven chilling about, hanging around for a little while. Medevac, Reapers, Hellions continue to move across on just a little bit of a journey there still, making their way across the sides. Raven hanging about, a few Marines gathering together. Again, Vikings, tank, and stim pack all on the way through. Cyclone still looking for an edge to kind of play with, looking to kind of catch on a corner if possible. Just gonna hop up into the main here, and into the main base they go. Just gonna boost on forwards. Popping up in the background, a couple of SCVs drop. The Reapers continue to be a bit of a defense as all said and done, Hero Marine ends up. A good chunk of work is ahead right now. Third CC moving into position, probably about a minute ahead of Oliveira's, which still needs to morph into an orbital as well. So Hero Marine is definitely drawing blood back in this game number 2. TVT though, there's a long way to go still. There's nothing decided yet, that much is for certain. As our Marines continue to gather up. Vikings and the Ravens come together. Again, 1-1 upgrade, stim pack on the way. That stim is way sooner from Hero Marine. So definitely watching on Hero Marine's side to see what he can do with that stim pack, and to see if he can kind of move onto the map and make things happen here already. If he can do so, then amazing. Just need to see if that's something he can fully get to. One stim again, still coming through from Oliveira. Upgrades in terms of 1-1 is going to be pretty even. Hero Marine may not take advantage of stim, but he will have a combat shield timing window as well. Thanks, Marines. Defensively, I think we're going to be okay. I don't see Hero Marine kind of just stemming straight into this, but obviously still has the potential to be mobile. And then if you're mobile and you have slightly better Marines, then obviously there's a lot you can do with that, because it's going to take a lot more from your opponent to play defense than the other way around. So definitely think that's a factor to keep in mind. First Liberator sieges up, a couple of SCVs begin to drop down dead. Those few Marines is pushing the lib back up to the top. Right. So both these Liberators are going to sit here. Hero Marine just finding ways to edge out even more damage. Going to go with the double siege here, and he actually will get rid of both libs. So, both Marines, so both libs will survive. And now an Order Turret has to come in. At least Order Turret cannot be attacked back by Liberators, so that should be a guaranteed cleanup. We'll get both of those. That's actually not too bad. 50 energy to finally clean that up. I'd take it. Marines tank still gathering up in the center. The rest of this army from Hero Marine making some steps forward. Again, 2-2 is on the way. Combat shields will be finishing very shortly. Cyclone locks on. CC going to be taking damage. Combat shields is about to finish up on the side of Oliveira. And 2-2 still just a little bit further ahead. Marines is going to come stimming forwards. Anti-armor missile goes down. Big spread of units here from Oliveira trying to get defense. He hits every single matrix as well, so I think this fight turns into Oliveira's favor the deeper it goes. And he will clean up everything bar the medevacs. So the medevacs get out alive, and that is going to be a supply evener. The supplies even out. And Oliveira has got to feel good about that, because this was not a pretty situation for him in the game. He was definitely trailing, but that's going to do a lot for him there. Medevacs load up, a couple extra tanks loading, more Marines as well. I like that Hero Marines is going to decide to go and be aggressive again. Medevacs up that right side, going to be spotted by the Vikings and missile turret! Oh my goodness, this is bad. We lose one of the full medevacs, the second and third. Trying to get away from those Marines. Marines have caught them though. They all go down. Oh, what a catch from Oliveira. Perfect defense on the attempted drop on the top side. We will get a couple of siege tanks here. Hero Marine finding some presence, but man, two terrible fights in a row for Hero Marine to fight into his opponent, and then the attempted drop getting shut down completely. Well, Hero Marine's really got to be feeling a little bit sucky after that one. It's not pretty. We see our Marines and our tanks continue to move out through the bottom side. Got the tank firing away. Marine tank Raven joining up together. Tanks going to be trying to take position in the center. We go tank 4, tank right there. Stepping up, tanks and Vikings pushing forward. CC gets the answer on that right-hand side. Hero with a pretty committed dive right now, but he's going to get surrounded. 3 of the tanks in Matrix, man. None of these fights from Hero Marine have been it at all. He looks a bit lost in this, which is a little bit surprising to say, because I feel like Hero Marine can play some very competitive TVT, but he has just not been able to win a fight to save his life in this series. When I say series, I mean this game, because obviously game 1, he just lost his first Reaper, and that was that. It was done. Ravens, Marines, tanks, Vikings moving forward. Since Dow goes down, we hit another Matrix. I mean, Oliveira not wasting his opportunity to get aggressive. A little counterattack from Hero Marine at least, maybe able to find some value. We knock the planetary down. Marines are still going to be going. Depot's taking shots. SCVs go down for Hero Marine, 9 go down for Oliveira. They both lose that 5th base option, so now 4 bases apiece, 2 more Ravens on the way from Oliveira, so he's very happy to keep on teching. Marines on unload, a couple more SCVs going down, Vikings still moving across. And that is going to be our Marines continue to stand and fight. The Marines of Hero Marine doing pretty well, because they're going to continue to trade until the bitter end. Finally, they will get cleaned up, but they took a lot of Marines down with them. Obviously got a lot of SCVs on the way as well. Tank shot. A couple of tanks need to take some return fire. Interference matrix goes down. We've seen a couple of tanks trying to get siege up. Matrix is going down. All 3 of those tanks getting picked off as well. Going to be seeing the rest of the Marines pulling out to the upper left. The army of Oliveira once again just playing clean up here. Marine unsuccessful still on most fronts. The tank positioning from Oliveira has continued to be fantastic. Continuing to turn those Marines away again and again. Well, here Marine is still yet to find a breakthrough point in this. Marine at this point is kind of hoping that Oliveira kind of misplays some of the fights, similar to how he did. That's going to be tough to do when you've got so many Ravens as Oliveira, though he did lose a couple of them right here. But when you can matrix every single tank, like I say, it's going to be very hard to really mess up the fight so badly. And that's going to be GG's. As Oliveira takes our second series of the day, as he took our first comfortably. I mean, he was behind in this game. I mean, here Marine, just like I said, really struggled to take a lot of the fights. And that is going to be Oliveira moving through. He plays Gumiho on Milky Cow, so I think time for us to step away from this section of the bracket and to go elsewhere. Rex going to be playing Lambo. Estrella plays Clem or Trigger, but I can only imagine that's still on Rotty's channel. So I think we're going to go Shin Classic is maybe, yeah, I feel like that might have started already. Goblin 2-1 Trap, by the way. So Goblin advances over Trap into the round of 8. Apparently Young and Youthermal playing the longest series of the days. Is Youthermal live? I don't see him live. Nightmare's in game. I was gonna say Nightmare is did I just swap over to Asia? Why is Clem on Asia? Why is Clem in a lobby on Asia? What's going on? Wild. Shin Classic then is already underway. 2 minutes in game. That's unfortunate. Well, if we have Nightmare finish his game, we could potentially go Nightmare versus Beyond. Nightmare is a favorite there, so Nightmare Beyond would be kind of a cool match to go into. Skillers play Showtime or Hearthstone. That's very PvP heavy. I'm trying to avoid the... There's a couple